What's up, guys? It's your boy Kazaris, and today I am bringing you one of the coolest decks I've built and played in a while, Super Quant Fiendsmith. Now, they have a brand new in-archetype hand trap that lets you summon one of the Super Quant mechs on the opponent's turn one, and also the Fiendsmith cards can bridge into their archetype. And say hello to my new cat, Jasper. Now, the purpose of the deck is to put out a lot of bodies, basically. So the super quants, they have on-field effects, they have engrave effects. The new starter can tribute and send for cost, so that even if it gets ashed, even if they stop its summoning from deck, you still get advantage because you sent something to grave for cost. Black Layer discards any card to special summon itself when your opponent activates a monster effect. And then it can Xyz summon into any one of the mechs on the when it's special summoned. So if you discard any of these 7 blue layer, white layer, or red layer, it'll summon the mech and then reattach whatever super quant in your graveyard to it to make it a quick effect. So if you discard blue, you make Grand Pulse, it's a spell or trap pop. And then when black layer is sent to grave, you add the new quick play spell, Sudden Incursion, which has 3 effects. The only relevant one is to e-telly a super quant from deck with different attributes from what you currently control. It can also set a super quant trap, but they're garbage, and it can switch a monster from attack to defense, which can randomly come up if you use it and then reshuffle it back with blue and then research it again in the same turn. You can maybe use it to protect one of your interrupts in battle, which is kind of relevant, not really though. So black, you could maybe cut black to 2. I just want to be able to Xyz summon one of these on the opponent's turn 1 as often as possible. But Fulos helps with that, opening both black layer and one of these. But you want it to be as common as possible without playing, because white layer it's a good extender. Blue layer is a starter, but like you don't want to play a ton of names because you still need room for non-engine. Like you don't want to be going into a board with just a bunch of super quant cards, because they have good pushes, but like not enough typically for most boards. So you do still want some amount of non-engine for sure. E-telly is a 1-card starter. Zayton is a 1-card starter. Alphen is also a 1-card starter. However, it's searchable by any of your other 1-card starters. By dumping white layer to grave, it'll add Alphen from deck or grave to hand. So even playing the 1, you can use it and then re-add it back from grave for follow-up. And then you just don't want too many normal summons, so that's why Alphen's at 1, even though it is still a great card. Red Layer is like the best card in the deck in terms of extension. It's a free summon, just to do Fiendsmith plays at the bare minimum by going into Moon. Or like once you're set up, you typically go Fairy Zaytan, tribute itself, and send Red Layer to special Red Layer. And then you'll have Red Layer on field to add back and Red Layer engraved to special summon. So you'll just get a ton of advantage that way. Zayton is also when it can special summon itself from hand and make itself the same level as another super quant on the field, to easily make any of the mechs if you need to. But typically just doing Fiendsmith plays is better. Speaking of which, you have 3 Engraver, 2 Tract, 1 Larry, 1 Lacrima, and a Paradise. So the new super quants are zombies, which means you can use Sequence to make Duke of Demise, but keep your Fiendsmith cards in the graveyard, which is really cool. So if you're like playing and you like resolved Zaytan to tribute itself, you can shuffle back like Zaytan and Lurie, and keep like Engraver, Lacrima Engrave, which have value, and get Duke of Demise that way. And then you can like link off Duke of Demise, add back Engraver, or this is a level 7 zombie, so Duke of Demise can also add back Black Layer to have a quick effect hand trap on the opponent's turn. Once you set up like adding, once you can like set it up and definitely have a discard for Black Layer, it's really cool that way. You can also make Loose the Dusk's Dark. It needs 3 Fiend and or Fairy monsters. So you can shuffle back Alphen, you can shuffle back White Layer, or going second, if you like started with Engraver, you can go Loose, target a card your opponent controls, send a Fiend or Fairy from deck to grave and destroy it. So going second, Engraver can make Loose, dump White Layer, pop a card, and then White Layer can add Alphen. And then you can access your Super Quantal engine that way, because Alphen will tribute itself, reveal 3 with different names, summon 1, send the rest. So you'll just get a bunch of triggers off of Alfan. So the fact that the Fiendsmith cards can bridge into the Super Quant cards and vice versa is really cool. Not quite as easily if you start with Fiendsmith, because you do have to go second, or your opponent has a controller card. So like if they Bestialed you and you can still get to loose, you can pop the Bestial going first. So that's potential. But the fact that they bridge together is really cool, because I was trying a K9 version of this deck beforehand, and they don't really bridge. Like you can make, so like if you open White Layer and don't have a name, so this can send a non-light Super Quant from hand or field to grave to special summon itself. So if you didn't have a name, you could overlay 2 K9s for Magna Liger and then send Magna Liger for White Layer. So it did kind of work that way, but you still had to open engine. Like they don't bridge to each other. But the Fiendsmith cards are way better, because you won't often have a 5, but you will often have a bunch of floating bodies that just stay on the field that you would just make IP with in the K9 version. I can show you that as well, just in case you wanted to try that. But now instead of just taking 2 bodies into IP, you do full Fiendsmith combo. Whoops, with a Duke of Demise to get an additional normal summon. So like if you had to normal summon Zaytan and then you add blue layer later in the combo, you can go Duke of Demise, additional normal the blue layer add again, something like that. Or if you had to start with normal summon blue layer, add white layer, and then you add Alfan, well now you already used your normal summon, but if you make Duke of Demise, you can then additionally normal summon that Alfan that you searched. So it bridges the engines together really well. And also being a level 6 Fiend to make Caesar, stuff like that. So if you don't want to play loose, this was theory. I saw, I was looking up targets for sequence, and I figured out that this could send White Layer. It can come up, definitely. It's just a matter of how often it comes up. If it doesn't come up that often, maybe Zeus would be better here, better suited for sure. But this is like the flex spot of the deck. Everything else is pretty set in stone. Or Super Quants have a Link 3 that's pretty decent, but it's not as good. I'm not going for for Great Magnus, because it's too resources intensive and it doesn't stop enough decks this format. Like you don't search and it's kind of immune, but you're committing a lot of resources, and it's only good if you're already playing, and you get to cut, and you have to play the field spell, which is another brick itself. So I don't think it's worth it. I think you put up a good enough end board anyway with the Fiendsmith stuff and the quick effect pop or negate, or plus the hand traps. It's pretty strong. Ash, Imperm, Fua. I think Ash and Fua and Callby and Talent are pretty mandatory. These 7 here, Imperm, Bell, Ogre, I think are the next best, but you could like change these 7 non-engine for whatever. It's up to you. But let me just show off a little test hand, because a lot of people don't know what this does. Okay, so once you have the E-Telly, I'm going to summon blue. Blue is going to activate its effect to summon red, or to add red, sorry, Jesus. Add white to hand. You're going to special white by sending blue to graveyard, and on summon, white layer is going to send red. Red is going to activate its effect to special summon blue from the graveyard. The monster that red summons cannot activate its effects, but it does not matter in this scenario, because we already activated blue. We're going to link off white and blue for moon. We're going to trigger white to add Super Quantal Fairy Alfan to our hand. Okay, now we're going to link off moon for Requiem. You all know this by now. I'm going to Requiem effect. Summon, where'd it go? Lacrima, dump Engraver. I'm going to equip Requiem from Grave to the Lacrima. I'm going to make Necroquip. And we're going to activate Engraver, shuffling back Moon. Now we're going to pause here, because if they have Nib, they are going to do it. That's obvious, okay? So if they don't have Nib, and so if they don't activate anything, they don't have Nib. Or they have Nib plus Handtrap, in which case, like Nib plus Imperm, in which case you were screwed anyway. So because Caesar is a water, it's going to affect, it would mess up the line, the most optimal line if we made it now. And I'll show you in a second. So if they don't do anything here, they don't have Nib, or they have Nib plus Imperm, in which case you're cooked anyway. So now we're going to go summon Alfan, resolve Alfan's effect, tribute itself. We're going to choose red, black, and Alfan. Okay, so we summon Alfan, we send Black Layer. Okay, Black Layer is going to trigger. It's going to add the quick play spell to our hand. We're going to activate Zayten, tribute itself, send for cost. We're going to send the blue. And now we're going to chain the quick play spell in this scenario. Depending what you get with Alphen, you have to do this slightly differently. So we're going to chain the quick play spell now because we want to get a dark, and we couldn't do that when Alphen was on the field. So we're going to quick play spell, get black layer, and then resolve Alphen, special red layer, and dump the blue layer for cost. Now new chain, because we chained the quick play spell, blue layer is going to put itself back as well as the quick play spell. Now it's critically important to be looping the quick play spell with blue layer, like shuffling it back whenever you get the opportunity, because every time black layer is sent to grave, you want to be able to research this, so that every turn you have an extender, and you're going to have like trigger white layer to add back the Alphen. So adding back Alphen and adding back the quick play every turn after recycling the materials with blue layer is very important. So blue layer is going to put itself back, it's going to put a red layer back, and it's going to put the quick play spell back. Black layer is going to Xyz summon as well, and red is going to add back Zayten to hand, and then your black layer is going to attach the red layer as well to the Magnaliger to make it a quick effect. And now we can overlay for Caesar. If we got red, we would have to use the quick play spell to special blue from deck. Yeah, we want to be able to use blue to reshuffle, but we want to add back the Zayten, use that to get black that way. It's just you have to do things in different orders depending what you get off the Zayten, but it shouldn't matter, or off the Alphen rather, but it shouldn't matter. But we had to not make Caesar just in case we got red off of the Alphen, because we had to quick play for the blue instead of quick play for black. So now we're going to overlay for Caesar, and then we're going to special the Zayten with its effect, and we're going to link for IP. So IP, Caesar, Magnaliger, quick effect, pop. You're adding back the quick play spell. Once you detach black layer, you have Lacrima for Requiem. So you have double negate with Caesar, IP, a pop with Magnaliger, researching the quick play spell with black layer, and then a Paradise Send off of just Etelly. So if, for instance, say we hit, we can back it up a little bit here. Say we hit red layer off of the Alphen, and we sent black layer and Zayten to grave. We would add the quick play spell. We would add back the Zayten. Now we go Zayten special, tribute, send for cost. You would just get an extra white layer here, it doesn't matter. And then Zayten is going to special the black layer. I'm pretty sure I had an extra one. So black layer from deck, that should be from deck. And then because we don't have Caesar, we can quick play spell for blue layer as well. And now the blue layer is going to trigger when we make IP instead of by sending for cost with Zayten. So this is why playing two ofs seems weird but matters for the combo, because you want a critical mass of names, but you don't want too many where you're bricking. You want enough to resolve the combo, but not too many where you're bricking. So black layer to summon and attach, and then we can overlay for Caesar, and then we make IP this way instead of with the Zayten, and trigger the blue layer, shuffle itself back, the red layer back, and the quick play spell back. And every turn we're trying to loop the quick play spell. So same board either way. So if you hit black layer, you don't get IP, but you still get Magnaliger plus Caesar. If you hit red layer or Zayten, you get IP. Yeah, that's the difference. But black layer is the only other target, just because. So you have a 66% chance to get IP off of the Alphen, or you just get Magnaliger plus Caesar plus Lacrima and Grave plus 4 other cards in hand. So that's still very strong as well. Now, if you just open the Fiendsmith stuff, so say for instance you just open Engraver and you're going second, so Engraver can get you the Tract can activate to get the Larry. You can special Larry. You can go Requiem for Lacrima, etc., etc. Dump Engraver. Engraver. Shuffle back the Larry. Gonna link these two for sequence. Sequence effect. I'm going to leave the Lacrima in this case, just because Lacrima can summon back sequence at the end of the opponent's turn for follow-up. I'm going to make loose in the leftmost or the rightmost so that it can't be destroyed. You're going to pop one of your opponent's cards, and you're going to send White Layer to the graveyard, and then White Layer is going to add Alfan to hand, and then you can just normal summon Alfan. And then Alfan effect. You can do red, blue, and Zaytan in this case so that you're always getting something good. You got blue, you dumped Zaytan, and red. Red can bring back the White Layer, and blue can add another Zaytan to hand. You can special summon the Zaytan with its own effect. You can tribute, you can dump White Layer. No, not White Layer. No, I'm going to dump. No, I can't send for cost. Yeah, I'll dump White Layer. I'll special Red Layer. Red Layer can add back White Layer, or I could special Black Layer as well to get Nixies that way. It just depends on the board state. But like if you like Fuwood and they just did like a little something and passed, this is like a much more realistic scenario, being able to loose effect. It's like Black Layer can make Luster X and attach White Layer. And then you could have a monster negate. You could detach something, negate their monster, or negate your own monster just to trigger Black Layer to get the quick play spell. And then you have just like a lot of extension from here. So just like it puts up so many free bodies. Just resolving Alfan, getting a body on board that triggers, and then 2 bodies engraved that can trigger to get you just advantage is just really, really, very, very strong. Zaytan being pretty immune to Imperm and Veiler because it'll still tribute and send from deck for cost and get you a search or a summon that way. It's a very good starter, and being able to extend with its own effect is pretty good as well. Like if you go summon Zaytan and it gets impermed, you can dump red, special red, or dump white, special red, and then white will add you Alfan, red will add you back the Zaytan. You can special Zaytan, make Fiendsmith combo, sequence effect, make Duke of Demise, and then additional normal summon the Alfan and keep playing. So even if you get imperm or Veilered on this, it doesn't matter. So pretty strong deck, pretty cool. Being able to utilize cool fusions aside from just Desiree is what I really like about the Fiendsmith engine. It's got a lot of cool plays. If you guys want to see some games, let me know. But I would give it a whirl if you want, because Black Layer is one of the coolest cards I've played with in a long time. Extender, Handtrap, making a seize on the opponent's turn. I love that feeling. Just playing on the opponent's turn feels so good. So that's going to do it for me, guys. I hope you enjoy. I will catch you all on the next one. Give this deck a whirl if you like, or leave a comment. Let me know what you want to see next. Peace.